Hi everyone, this is Spencer with CFSM Media. I'm out here with...
Patty Porter.
All right, Patty, so what brings you out today?
I am here to support the audit and show enthusiasm that we're finally to a point where we're going to get to the bottom of this. For months, we have been crying out saying, hey, open up, let us see what the ballots show. And for months, the Democrats continue to just shut us down. We just want to know what's going on. You know what? There's nothing wrong with asking questions. We are critical thinkers. We want to hold our people accountable, and we want answers. You know, I know what I saw when I canvassed for President Trump. I know what I saw when I was at the polls, observing and watching, and I know the support, and I know the rally volume that I saw. So when they came back saying that Biden was called for 8:45 p.m. on November 3rd, and I just gotten home and friends had just texted me that they just finished dropping off ballots at the recorder's office, I was like, there's no way. There's no way.
And it's pretty crazy. I mean, right now as it stands, they're claiming secret ballots, so there's no way of actually verifying without the state legislature actually coming in like they're doing now. But as you know, it's been backed up for how many months? And it's past the point where Biden's already president. So if there was fraud, there's nothing we can do about it. The thing that just baffles me the most is the left is saying, oh, yeah, we got to have, you don't need to audit it. Nothing was wrong. This is the most secure election. Well, if it was, let us do the audit. Prove it. I think it's a nonpartisan issue to have it where both sides want a free and fair election. But what do you think should happen if it's found that Maricopa County, that overturns the results and now it's in Trump's favor? What do you think should happen?
Well, we do not want illegal positions held. For example, we're going down ballot for sure. Mark Kelly, his seat, I believe, was not won. So that's a Republican seat we want back. Furthermore, our electors need to call back that vote for Biden, and it needs to go to President Trump because that's who the people voted. Secondly, it needs to continue throughout the entire country. All of the swing states, and I know they're already working on it, need to conduct forensic audits because we believe President Trump won in a landslide, and we need the true and rightful president in office. Biden is destroying our country, and that was the plan to begin with, and they are putting this thing in fast forward so fast with the mask mandate, the lockdowns, the immigration that is out of control. They're infiltrating our hotels down in Ahwatukee, where I'm from, and what they're doing as far as social programs, that's going to affect more than just the legal citizens. It'll impact our schools, our medical system, and our social programs,
which are already overloaded.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And let's not forget our vets, our homeless, those with mental illness. And this has all been exacerbated by the freaking lockdowns.
I'll give an example. San Diego, where I'm from, I was back over Easter Sunday visiting family. The San Diego Convention Center got turned into a migrant camp.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh my gosh.
So it makes me wonder what's going on, because it's like you have all this stuff, these bad policies being in effect, and it's, in my opinion, destroying the country. And we need sensible leadership, and I'm glad that everyone's out here supporting the event and supporting the audit because, I mean, as I said, it's a bipartisan issue. If it's found that there was no fraud, the issue's done with. But if there is fraud, we need it dealt with. We need to secure our elections so this doesn't happen again. Is there anything you'd like to tell our congressmen to make sure that they get this audit done?
Absolutely. So when we discover the findings, and I'm very impressed, by the way, with the team. It is a team of experts that are going and looking at different angles and areas, kinetics, cyber, obviously the physical count, the kinematic artifacts. That's unbelievable. That is indisputable evidence. I have an audit background, so I understand how all of this works. And when it becomes a finding or irrefutable, there will be scientific fact to support those findings, and it will stand up to arguments. For example, I'm also involved with the voter roll cleanup. So I go door to door, and I go to all these locations where it says that these voters were registered to vote. Just last week, I found that there is an address that doesn't even exist. The entire complex is missing. So those are where the phantom voter fraud came in.
That and also people being able to register on the same day and submit that provisional ballot because there's no background to make sure that they are actually an Arizona citizen or a United States resident, United States citizen who can vote. And that's been the biggest issue. I know the counties, or I think it was the county or the state, was arguing that in court for a while, and they're now trying to fix that. I actually went to that, are you talking about the HR1 event that they did?
No, I was talking about my specific voter roll cleanup progress that we're doing with the Liz Harris group, the election integrity group.
Okay.
We're actually going door to door right now. I go every weekend and I verify the voter rolls because that is where the fraud occurred. We've got, 10 people registered to vote at this one apartment complex or this
and
one
no one's there.
And you know what? They're like, I don't know who that is. Everybody on that list but one lives there.
Yeah. And that's actually kind of interesting too, because you probably saw Steven Crowder's video that he was going to do, where they found voters that were non-existent. It was like an industrial building or something like that. I know that's happening because I did talk to a few of the senators out here. And the crazy thing is, and maybe you can correct me on this, what they were telling me is the elections committee is not really doing their thing out here. They're not cleaning the voter rolls actively, and it's taking citizens that are engaged in the process to actually come and tell them, like, hey, this person doesn't live here. You guys need to go clean this. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Those voter rolls have not been cleaned up in decades. And that goes back to 2 or 3 different recorders, state recorders. So in my opinion, they're not doing their job. I'll even go as far as say it's malfeasance. They've created a very fertile environment for fraud. And the fact that the Democrats, do not want to clean up the voter rolls is beyond me, because that is their ground for fraud. In other states, you get kicked off the voter roll if you go one election cycle without voting. Here, they never clean it up. Could you imagine that? We don't have any of it. So yeah, private citizens are going out on their spare time. We have full-time jobs with families and doing what the Maricopa County should have been doing all along. Now, we're being told by Stephen Richards that they're working on it. They're going to have a website set up so that we can all go in there and volunteer to help to clean it up. Well, where is that website? And I'm calling you out, Stephen Richards, because I talked to you back in, I believe it was February or March, and asked for that website to be placed up because I would volunteer. So we're gathering all of this data, and it will become evidence. It is evidence.
And one final question, how do you fix this going forward? How do you make it so these fraudulent votes can't occur? Is it something at the state level that needs to be fixed, or something at the federal level?
It's at the state level and at the federal. The states need to control their own elections. We need to get rid of the machines. We're done with machines. Go back to old-fashioned paper and a marker or a pen or whatever won't be a problem. And it's not going to run through a machine, because that's where the fraud occurred. With the switching of the votes and the fractional voting, that all happened there. Go back to same-day voting and a machine. And you know what? This voter suppression is a bunch of BS about requiring an ID or having just one day to vote. Voting is a privilege, and I think we're figuring that out now more than ever, that our rights are being compromised. If you can't take time out of your day to vote for freedom, then maybe you don't deserve to vote.
I mean, the other thing too, it's not hard to get an ID. That's the other narrative, that it's affecting minority communities more. But I mean, what about rural white voters, right, that live out in the boonies? You can't. It's not a race issue. A lot of states, including like Texas too, they offer free IDs, right? So I'm thinking, if we're gonna to appease the left, if we can do that, okay, open it up, 2 weeks of voting, but that's it. There can be some compromise to appease them, but at the same time, we don't want to make it so the elections are not secure.
Right.
So
compromise is always good. That's what we're supposed to do, is work together as a party, but it's so divisive right now. I would hope that would happen. But back to your point with regards to voter suppression for the minority group, I'm obviously a minority. I'm a Latina. And come on, you need an ID to go sign up for WIC, to sign up for DES, to sign up for all your benefits. So don't be coming at me saying I can't get my ID, because if you need your check, you're going to get ID. So you need to have ID. They have ID. Most people have IDs. We need it for cigarettes, to get on a plane, to
buy
get
alcohol.
a library card.
Buy alcohol, go to an MLB game to pick up your tickets.
Exactly. So that's a very weak excuse, and unfortunately the media is spinning it so people do feel like they're being victimized when that's not the case at all.
It's all virtue signaling. and it's not facts to back it up, it's just virtue signaling.
Exactly.
Again, your name was?
Patty Porter.
Patty. Well, again, my name is Spencer. Hey, I really appreciate the interview, and I'm glad that you're out here supporting freedom.
America first. Thank you so much.
Thank you.